to the tribe. It's Wanaghi. I wanted to stop by and drop some clips off to you guys. But before we start, stop, hit the like button, and I appreciate you guys. I hope everybody's feeling safe, secure, and as healthy as can be. So TGIF, and I hope everybody's having an awesome Friday, and even more, finna have a better weekend. So in these clips, we're talking about ancient American pyramids, and that they don't know the age, and that they're everywhere across the Americas, north, south, central, everywhere. What people are not getting or don't know is America has more pyramidal structures than the world combines. But you don't hear Pan-Africans talking about this, or people that study Kemet or Egypt. You think about it, right? When they were doing documentaries in the Amazon in South America, and they had the LiDAR technology, and all of the pyramids you could see without the trees being there, and they're everywhere, big cities. And I have actually seen some of these pyramids myself, actually riding through different states, and I know a lot of you guys have too. And at the end of the video, I'll put one I seen in PA that I drove past. But it's definitely a pyramid covered with foliage and everything else. But in these clips, one is a family driving, and they spot the pyramid, and they can distinctly tell it's a pyramid off in the distance. And the other clip I have is just basically more proof that they don't know the age of the Americas. Americas is the true old world. They can't date half of this stuff they see. All they can do is guess about it. And it's a lot of gems in the second clip. And shout out to him for putting this out. And you'll hear him talk and break it down a little bit too, which it was fire. Definitely a lot of gems in it. Definitely pay attention. Let's get it.
We're up there. They're fixing that. That's the. So now we've come into Egypt. It's the Egyptian pyramid. Area.
1849, the Mexican archaeologist Professor Rutz discovered on the Temple of Inscription, but the Temple of Inscription is in reality a pyramid. He discovered a groove up on the top, and then they found a shaft. Inside the shaft, a staircase going down. It went down under the pyramid. But the staircase in that time, in 1949, was full with stone. So it took 3 years to dig out all these stones. In 1952, Professor Dr. Rutz, with his students in archaeology, they stand before a big door in the shape of a triangle. They never found a door in the shape of a triangle. The door was broken up, and Professor Rutz, with his candles in his light, looked into a room, and the first words he said, "I don't believe my eyes. I see in a sort of chapel, and from the ceiling down are hanging things like candles." In reality, it were not candles, it was stalactites and stalagmites.
So first, we need to address stalagmites and stalactites. And stalagmites are the one that grow from the ground up, and stalactites are the one that grow from the ceiling down. The part about it is how long it actually takes for them to form. And in this particular article, they were saying something along the lines of usually what is it? Let's see, at the bottom it says limestone stalactites form extremely slowly, usually less than 10 centimeters every 1,000 years. And radiometric dating has shown that some are over 190,000 years. Now, you have to judge by how long they actually are. And I'm going to let the video continue, but I just want to bring out the point that the fact that these things are under this tomb, that's a hint at the actual antiquity of this site. But let's continue.
The room is 7 meters long, and on the bottom there was a big plate with big, I mean 3.80 meter long, 2.20 meter large. Of course, we live in a reasonable society, and our science always looks for the next reasonable answer before they go into speculation, which is normal, which makes sense. Around this stone plate, there was an inscription, and only a few words they could decipher. For example, the word Pakal. And they knew Pakal was the second last ruler of the city of Palenque. So they said, this man sitting in this frame inside, he represents Pakal. And I said, he's not sitting in a frame. The frame in reality shows the open mouth of a mythological monster. So what I look as frame, it's just the teeth of the mythological monster. And he's falling into the mouth of this mythological monster. But out of his chest, you see the living tree or the tree of life, etc. I explained as something like a linking flame coming out at the end. Archaeologists said, no, these are just the stylized hairs of the beard of the weather god. So this was an archaeological suggestion when they found this tombstone of Palenque in 1952. In the meantime, from 1952 until today, I have read in the scientific literature 14 different explanations what this should mean. It is always Pakal, that's for sure. Pakal, the second last ruler. And now, just a few years ago, the two leading epigraphers are the people, the professors who are able to read the Maya language. Professor Dr. John Stewart and Stewart, because it's the father and the son, Stewart and Stewart. And they know everything now in Maya graphics, in Maya writing. And they say, yes, it is Pakal. But Pakal is not falling into the open mouth of a mythological monster. It has nothing to do with cross of life or tree of life. Every little thing which is chiseled in the stone has to do with the universe. Pakal is in fact leaving the earth, flying out to the universe.
So I want to address the, claim that he just made, which was that this is of Pakal in a ship and a flying device. And I personally believe that our ancient ancestors had this technology because they left many different records beyond this one, showing them with the ability of flight. And you see it actually globally. So it makes sense that it's true. But let's keep going.
So the tombstone of Palenque is still there in the original pyramid because it's too big, they cannot put it out. Normally, pyramids were not tombs, but the so-called Temple of Inscription in Palenque, which is a pyramid, was in fact a tomb. Under this tombstone, there was a grave, and they found a skeleton and a mask. It's probably Pakal, the second last ruler of Palenque. But what we do not understand, the normal Maya, their size was about 1.50 meters to 1.60 meters. And that skeleton in there of Pakal is 1.81 meters. He's too big for a Maya. 1.81 meters is not Maya-like. And also his nose is not human because the bone of his nose starts already on his front, up there. So we say it's Pakal, but nobody is sure if it's Pakal. Now concerning the stalactites and stalagmites, soon as a pyramid is somehow broken and the rain goes into the pyramid, some stalactites and stalagmites start to form. But this takes an eternity. They found 7-meter long stalactites and stalagmites in this room, which is situated under the pyramid. Don't forget this. Because of the stalactites, you could measure or calculate how old is this room. It does not fit to the Maya. The Maya is a relatively young society, and Palenque is more or less about 800 AD, so after Christ. It's not very old. Others say even younger. They say 1400 after Christ. But it does not fit together with the stalactites and stalagmites. First, we had this tomb in the down in the earth. This tomb was covered by this large tombstone with the chiseling of Pakal. And later, only on, they started to construct the pyramid over the tomb. The tomb is much older than the pyramid itself. I believe that first there was a tomb down with the holy figure, one of the gods, or a mixture of the gods, or an imitation of the gods. And they chiseled this into this gigantic tombstone. And this was there, a holy place for the Maya or the people who lived before the Maya for thousands of years. And only later, because it was a holy place, now they started to construct a pyramid, the so-called Temple of Inscription, over the old tomb. So in my suggestion, the tomb is probably 5,000 years old because of the stalactites and stalagmites. And the temple itself, the Temple of Inscription, is young, let's say maybe 1,500 years old.
Okay, so we heard Mr. Van Daniken say that there were 7-meter long stalactites, and that equals 22 feet. Now, going back to that article, when it was saying how that it takes 10 centimeters every 1,000 years, and there are roughly 30 centimeters in a foot, so then that would mean roughly every foot is equal to about 30,000 years. So then at 22 feet, that's like over 600,000 years. Now, that sounds like a long, long time. And one thing about it, we know that they underage the things that they find in the Americas. They do not want to admit the actual antiquity of the relics and things that's in America. Now, whether or not it's actually 600,000 years, I might be off. You know, that might be too much. It might be. I can't. But I'm just saying, if we're going by the measurements that they give, that's a long time. And again, they never really want to tell the truth about these things. You know, all of the pyramids that we see, most of them have other pyramids inside of them, other temples inside of them. They keep rebuilding on the same site, so they really don't know how old, the age of these things. A lot of times they guessing, or they'll take a piece of material that they can carbon date to give a date, and that does not mean it's the age of that site, because you can't carbon date stone. So we can never really be sure of the right age, but we know it's a lot older than they tell us. Well, thanks for stopping in with me, and until the next time, y'all be cool.
So that was the clip. Like I say, it's an awesome time to be alive. We're starting to observe and see and know these things to be truth to us in the Americas. And we know they've only found a fraction of them, but still, we have more pyramids than the world combined. And they're old, and they don't know how old they are. Like we say, the Amazon is the lungs of the earth, or the lungs of the planet. And you'll hear a lot, because my tribe is out of Ohio, that Ohio is the heart of it all. So if you have the lungs and the heart in a certain area, I think that would be the main body. You dig? Definitely would be the main body. But like I say, I'm gonna put the clip at the end and show you guys what I seen. And definitely drop in the comments what you think. But I love you guys. Definitely support the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely share. I'll say this. I'm definitely trying to get some things moving. And I'm trying to go back live. I think I'm ready for to come back out how I feel right now. I feel better. I feel a lot better after going through what I went through. And I'll say this, and just to let you guys know, I'm trying to get new items, new laptop, new mic, just a whole new setup. Like I say, I want to come fresh and come new, and definitely drop that fire and be able to show it how I see it in my brain. So for those that do have the ability, definitely support on the Cash App. $Wanaghi, and I'll put it up. And anything is appreciated. And I appreciate y'all for everything y'all do. You dig? But definitely appreciation for people that can and can't afford to do things like that. Definitely support, and I appreciate it. But feathers up, tribe up, wise up, rise up.